This is so random, y'all. I'm on YouTube Live and I'm on IG Live. I named this Allow Me to reintroduce myself because a couple of very interesting sort of events have occurred this week. And let me just jump right in. So, I used to be a real live like race debater. And when I say race debater and what race debating means, that means um, really seeing things from this black and white, black people this, white people that, very militant, like kind of like black nationalists, kind of talk black consciousness sort of uh, place of thinking. Now, I was raised in a pretty militant household. My mother was pretty militant, and so I learned from an early age that basically black people had the shorter end of the stick, and it was gonna be hard, and I had to be really really smart, and I had to just do all of these things because who I wasn't already enough because I was black, right? And I bought into that, like most of us, right? Because like, how else would we know that anything is different? So I really only went to school with other black kids. I grew up in a black neighborhood, but when I went off to college, I went to a what is called a predominantly white institution, and I was really culture shocked. Like, I was really culture shocked because I had never been around so many white people before, and given my sort of background and upbringing of being this like power to the people, black, 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 Black Panther, black everything, right? For me, it was like it was I kind of had this barrier, so to speak, between me and you know um, white folks or just non-black folks, and just wanting to make everything black, right? Wanting to work for a black organization, wanting to build programs that was specifically for black people, like black, 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 black. It just so happens that I had a love for babies, and so entering the nonprofit realm after I graduated from college, I went, I won't say straight into it, but I really did go full force in building a black doula agency that was staffed by all black women, that really supported majority of all black women because of the black infant mortality rate and so forth and so on. And so I can remember just feeling very exhausted a lot of the times, right? Because it was black and white day in and day out. It was never a break from it. It was always these people are doing this thing to us, and we need to take back our power by building institutions and building stuff that's specifically for us. Like, that was my rhetoric. Like, if you knew me during that era, you know that that was all I talked about, like black, 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 right? I was even trying to kick the white people off my board because I wanted to have an all black board. Like, I mean, I was very much into it. Um, what shifted for me was when I was leaving and I decided to leave the nonprofit realm. I was working on this project and I just really fell out of alignment, out of love with the work, because what I kept seeing was that even if we were here providing all of these things, all of these tools, and all of these resources, if people aren't willing to take those things to better themselves, then they'll just come back to you. It's kind of like that analogy where you can lead a man to the you can what is it? You can fish for you can fish for somebody, or you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. Okay, that one, and then it's another one like you can um, teach a man to fish, or you can give a man to fish, give a man fish. Just saying basically that you don't have the power to change anybody. You can be a demonstration to somebody, and then someone becomes inspired by you, and then they make a change for themselves, but you yourself can only change you. You can't change systems. So that's a false narrative in the nonprofit space. And you can't change anybody. You can only change yourself. And something really interesting happened to me. I had went on this sort of just race spree, so to speak, where I'm like, I'm dogging white folks, and I'm dogging some black folks too, because what I saw was that I saw in black people that black people wasn't really interested in changing the system. They were more so interested in getting into a position of power so that they can do to white people, or do to either even one another, what they feel white people have done to them. So it was this other system of oppression. Whereas no, we don't really want to dismantle this thing that we say systemic racism. We just want to be in a position of power to pretty much treat people the way that we say that white people treat us and the systems have treated us. And that's what I saw. And I got to a place where I felt like I couldn't trust white people, and I felt like I couldn't trust black people either, because then I saw black people getting into positions and doing exactly the same thing that they claimed that white people was doing to them that was unfair. And it really drained me to the point where I ended up leaving nonprofit, walking away from the organization that I created. And I didn't want to have anything to do with anybody in that space, anymore. And it was difficult for me, because I had really built my life around this concept of black and community, right? And so it was difficult for me to step back and say, like, damn, well, I'm trying to do all of this, but shit, I'm actually neglecting my life and neglecting what it is that I need to be looking at for me. So I ended up taking this trip down to Atlanta and Montgomery, Alabama, with some family of mine. I'm gonna say, because they're my people. And it was very life changing for me. I went to this museum, and it had all of this history. And I got another video about that, so you go back and look at that if you want to. I don't need to tell the whole story. But I remember, and it's so crazy because I've been seeing all of this stuff around suicide, because of the young man who took his life. And this is crazy for me to think about, but like, at that 2 year, it's been almost, no, it's been about a year, a little over a year. I had got so knee deep into that whole race debating thing that once I kind of came up out of that slumber, so to speak, I did not know who the fuck I was. I didn't know who I was without that identity of being this black community activist, who was going to change the whole black community. And I fell into a really deep depression. And I'm not really a person who gets depressed, right? But I fell into this really, really deep depression. I had like an identity crisis. So much so that at one point, I really did ask my friend, which I swear to God is real. Nobody cannot ever tell me different. I woke up on my birthday, and I woke up on my birthday crying, and I couldn't figure out. And in that moment in my mind, I was thinking, like, why am I here? I don't even need to be here on this earth no more. Like, I don't even need to be here anymore. Like, this is what I was saying to myself. And in that moment, my friend, which I love her, is bringing tears to my eyes. She called me. In that moment, it was like God told her to call me in this moment. And she was like, hey, I'm right around the corner. I baked you a pie for your birthday. I'm coming over. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So she came over and we talked for like 3 hours. And I was just in tears and exhausted and defeated. I was like, I don't even know who I am if I'm not doing this thing, if I'm not being this black militant, power to the people, save the black community. I was like, I feel betrayed by white folks. I feel betrayed by black people. I said, so who else? Who else do I have? And so she said, you need to just get out of Cleveland. So come down with me and my family to Atlanta and to Montgomery, Alabama. So that's what I did. I went. And it was life changing for me because I was able to see things from a totally different perspective. And when I got back to Cleveland, I literally had completely retired from race debating, because what I realized was that it was so limiting. It was so limiting to try to live in this being Black bubble. Like, I'm a very spiritual person. And I was aware of this, but I somehow wasn't conscious of this, if that makes sense. It's like I knew this, it's like my soul knew this, but my flesh was still sort of fighting this. And for me, it was like, okay, being Black, or even labeling myself Black, became so minuscule to the fact that I'm this divine ass being. Like, before I'm even a human, I am this soulful, spiritual diamond that is waiting to show myself on a soul level, not through the lens of being Black per se, not through the lens of being a woman per se. I just happen to be Black and I just happen to be a woman, but I am a fucking divine ass soul first and foremost. And so for me, it just seemed like me trying to put myself into this box or this bubble of being Black. It actually suffocated my greatness. It suffocated my soul. It suffocated the divineness that exists within me. And so I was like, why have I been limiting myself by keeping myself in this bubble and saying that I'm Black? I'm like, so I mean, and I'm proud of our culture. I love the culture, but understand that race is a social construct. This is social construct is not even real. And the Black community as a whole has created this whole oppression and victimhood and victim story, and we are married to it. We do not want to break up with the victimhood and this oppression that we say other people put on us, but that's not true. We put that oppression on ourselves because you wake up every single day and you get to decide whether or not you're going to be a victim today, or you gonna get your ass out there and you gonna make some shit happen regardless of what this look like. This shit don't even matter. It's what's in here. Right now, I'm speaking from my soul. I'm not speaking from this skin. I'm not speaking from these breasts and this vagina. I'm speaking from my soul. That's what is shining and coming through right now, right? It doesn't have anything to do with this outfit that we have. And so I just decided that I didn't want to limit myself anymore. And a friend of mine earlier today, actually one of my mentors, but she had showed me this video of this Black lady, and it was at like a Black conference or something. And I guess she's like the executive director of some Black nonprofit organization. And I mean, this lady was going ham, and she was saying, and they did this, and they broke up the Black community, and they did this, and then they did this, and then 19 this, and 19 this, and 19 this. But you know what I did not hear her say at all? There was zero accountability on behalf of Black people. She put everything on what white people have done, what some people over here, these people that did to us. There was absolutely no accountability on behalf of Black people. And I said to my friend, I said, but when you blame people for your circumstances, you make them your God. You're saying that they have more power to control you than God. But Black people claim to be so religious. It's such an oxymoron. Black people, you don't see Black people, you don't see no other race that got Jesus on the back of their car, Jesus in their license plate, Jesus hanging from. I mean, Black people are extremely religious, but we don't even believe the shit that we say that we believe, because, or else, why are you making white people your God by saying they control you through systemic racism? That shit is a fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got compassion because I've been there. I've been there. When I was in that mentality, nobody could have told me anything different. Nobody could have told me anything different. I was married to that. I was like, oh no, this is how it is, and we gotta go ham and shit. Is it gonna be a civil war? But we gonna have to. But look, I woke up one day and said, this is my life. This is my experience. I can't wait for somebody else to maybe come around to liking me, right? Maybe they'll come around to like me and accept me. But fuck that. Don't nobody gotta accept me. The only person that gotta accept me is me. And the only person who gotta accept you is you. And that's it. And once that's taking back your power. That's calling back your power. And I had to say this today because I was like, man, the conversations that I be having with Black people, it'd be difficult for me to have conversations with Black people because it's so filled with victimhood. And I'd be like, I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm too past that point in my life, and I'm not going back there because that's so small. That's so suffocating. I can't afford to go back there because I've been through so much. I've suffered so much that I would be a fucking idiot to want to return to that space. I have to empower myself. I have to uplift myself and say, no matter what the outside appearance, I don't feel inferior because I'm Black or that I'm a woman. I'm sorry, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. We refuse to take accountability for ourselves. I can't even say our communities because see, we got it twisted. We think that it's systems, community, family, then self last. No, self is first. And before you can get to family, you got to get to self. And before you can get to community, you got to get to family. And before you can get to systems, you got to get to community. Because systems are made up of individual people. So you can only change your individual self. The systems are fucked up because we are fucked up. We are the people who make up the systems. Who the fuck make the laws and the policies and the rules? Individual people. So until we get this together, ourselves together, nothing on the outside is going to change. The chaos that we see in the world is just a reflection of our own internal chaos. And so I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know if I'm somehow being called to talk this talk, to Black people, because I do love Black people. I have so much compassion because I came from that realm and I came from that world. And so I understand. But will they listen to me? That's the thing. Because we so resistant because we really just want to be the victim. It's so hard for us to reconcile the fact that we got power over our own lives. We just don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it. And that's because we're allowed to be lazy when we just push the blame off on somebody else or another race or a system or something. And we sit up here talking about shit that happened 400 years ago. Not one motherfucker today was alive 400 years ago. Our ancestors dealt with what it is that they had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? At that time, just like we are here to deal with what we have to deal with in our time. So nobody is saying forget what happened. And half of us don't even really truly know our history because most of black people that's over here are actually not descendants from slaves. But we so fucked up, even if we present that we won't accept that. We won't accept it because we got to have a reason to be in the state that we are today. It is not by coincidence that you could go to any major city, and you will see Black neighborhoods, just like Black Cleveland neighborhoods. You'll see those same type of neighborhoods there where there's poverty, where there's violence, where there's a shitty education system. Do we think really that that's happening because white people is holding us down? No, it's not. I got so many different examples as to why that's not the case. One of my best and most famous examples is when I had to go into the East Cleveland Civic Center and raise hell about how terrible that fucking gym looked. Now, what the fuck do that got to do with white people when Black people's kids is the ones that's going there every day. And my child didn't even go there. I just happened to go in there and I was like, why do this gym look like this? Why are y'all accepting this? Y'all have just given up on life. Where you like, oh, well, that's just how it is. No, it's only how it is if that's how you make it to be. But I'm not going to allow my child to play in anywhere that's a hazard. Now, if we don't have that type of love for ourselves, there's no way that we can have that type of love for our children. So that's why it starts with self. Because I wouldn't want to be in an abandoned, raggedy environment personally. So if I personally don't want to live in that and be in that, then of course I'm not going to allow my child to be in that. And let me just be clear. I done had a whole lot of learning curves. I done fucked up on a whole bunch of shit. And I don't like to say mistakes because I don't really believe in mistakes. I believe in lessons. But we really just have it twisted. And I said, you know what? Maybe I just need to come on and reintroduce myself to people to say, listen, I'm not the old Kristen anymore that you knew. I'm not the Kristen that is the Black community activist trying to fight the power and fight the people and, you know what I'm saying, and oppression and systemic racism and all of that. No, that's not me no more. So when you talking to me, please don't talk to me from a place of victimhood. Talk to me from a place of empowerment and a place of uplifting. What are you going to do to change your circumstances, right? Because I still have to get up every day and figure that out for my damn self. And I sure in the fuck don't want to hear you talking about how you being Black is so hard and Black. You ain't fucking special, man. Everybody got a story. Everybody got a story. We all have been through some shit, man. We all have been through some shit. And I'm just at this place. I felt like it was just so much that was happening. You know, it's like, I don't want, like, even when people talk to me, and they say like, oh yeah, because yeah, we need more women in this, or we need more Black people, or we need more Black voices like you. And I'm like, man, don't put me in that small ass category. We just need more voices like me, period. And that don't got nothing to do with how I look per se. It is just what my soul is saying and what it's speaking. No, I don't want to be the first Black person to do something. I don't want to be the first woman to do something. I'm just going to be the fucking first. Period. Don't chop me down. Don't chop my tree down. Because I was born to stand up and stand tall, just like we all are. We all are meant to do that. But we purposely limit ourselves because it's easier for us to retreat and act like the victim and say, oh, they did this. And that's the reason why I haven't did this. And my parents, they fuck that shit. None of that shit matter. Only thing that matter is what the fuck are you gonna do starting today and for the rest of your life. That don't got nothing to do with your parents. Your parents did what they did and made you a better person because of it. So even if they were shitty parents, it made you resilient. It taught you some shit. You know, things that you needed to know on a very spiritual level. On a very spiritual level, y'all. We choose to come to this earth. Our souls choose to come to this earth. And we also choose our parents. So when you saying that you know, hate your parents and you mad at your parents, and I made a video to say like, it's okay to let go of your parents, because I 100% stand by that. If they ain't in alignment with you no more, let their ass go, right? Because you only needed them up to a certain point anyway, for some of us, right? That's not all, that's some of us. But my point is, you chose these people to be your parents because you needed something from them. You needed to know something from them. And so that takes the blame off of them and for you to look at yourself. To say, why would my soul choose for me to have these experiences? Why am I having these experiences? The other example that I give too is when we end relationships. When we end relationships, we tend to write a whole list as to what this person was doing and wasn't doing, and they was this and they did that or whatever. But if instead of saying what was wrong with them, you have to ask yourself, what within me made me attracted to this person? If that person was broken, then you need to figure out why you attracted a broken person. 10 times out of 10 is because you was broken too. So you need to work on fixing you instead of you trying to place the blame off on that person, because if you try to place the blame on that person, you're going to end up in the same type of relationship again because you didn't check yourself. It doesn't pay to blame anybody. It just doesn't pay to blame anybody outside of ourselves. And in fact, I wouldn't even say we can't even blame ourselves. We shouldn't blame ourselves either. We should just learn. We should just learn. We don't need to blame ourselves. You don't need to beat yourself up about past decisions. You are a totally different person today than you were then. So you don't need to blame yourself for it, but you do need to check yourself. And you do need to say to yourself, damn, what was going on with me that I attracted this broken person? In what ways am I broken? In what ways do I need to fix whatever is going on inside of me so that I don't attract someone like that again? That's a better way to reframe that. Because if you just go around blaming people, you ain't gonna never grow. You'll never grow, ever. And so you'll be stuck and stagnant, and life will pass you by, and you will be in the same place today that you were 30 years ago, looking around like, damn, where did my life go? What happened? I ain't even do half of the things that I dreamed of doing when I was a kid. A part of that is letting go of that bullshit that you've been fed and living for yourself truly and authentically, and quit playing the fucking victim. All right, that's all I got, y'all. I so appreciate y'all getting on. Hey, Nisa. Hey, Logan. Oh, I appreciate y'all commenting. Hey, Kev, I see you too on YouTube. Right. Psychedelics came, death helped break through the way of thinking and become more in tune, my higher self. We are limitless beings. We are limitless beings. And it's unfortunate that we have been taught to limit ourselves, and then we wonder why we miserable. And then we wonder why we want to commit suicide. We so disconnected from ourselves because we put so many limitations on ourselves. And we have a hard time forgiving ourselves too. We always, hey Sean, my auntie on here. And so there's this line that people say where they like, forgive others for yourself and not for them, right? But I challenge that a bit, and I say the only person you need to forgive is you. And by forgiving yourself, you automatically forgive all of those people you think you need to forgive, because what you are truly forgiven is who you were at that time that made you make those decisions. Who you were at that time that attracted that person to you. Who you were at that time that attracted that situation to you. So the only person you need to forgive is yourself. Everybody else, for the most part, is irrelevant. This life is all about you. Like, you are the star in your movie. This is your movie. This is your movie. Everybody else, they're just supporting actors, or they're just cooperative components to support your story, right? Be it friends, be it family, be it colleagues, whatever it is. But this is your story, and you get to create it every day. And I understand that it is difficult, you know what I'm saying? Because I go back and forth. I be having so many ideas. I be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, or whatever. But when I'm moved by spirit, like I was to just come on here tonight and just say this, because I'm about to start making some reaction videos, and also with the Journey to 98% videos that I've been making, I'm gonna keep I still got so much content to upload. But I be having my moments of doubt because I'm human, and that's okay, you know. But still, I still got to pick myself up, and I can't be sitting up here like, oh, I can't do this today because I'm Black. Oh, so hard out here. I can't do this today. You know what I'm saying? I still got a household to maintain and run. I got to do what it is that I got to do. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they do whatever it is that they need to do. But I certainly, recommend and suggest to get in touch with yourself. And it don't matter what religion you are, because all religions teach you to center back to yourself. Whether that's, I got all type of texts here, from the Bible to the Quran to Krishna to I'm interested in it all, and I'm all for whatever people need in order for them to get back to themselves, get back to God, because God is one, God is self. And God been working on me, man. I'm telling you, that faith factor is strong. It has to be. But don't make other people your God. Don't make white people your God. Don't make this system your God. Quit saying that these people it's systemic racism. You are saying that that's your God. We don't even understand that. That's blasphemous. You're saying that an entity has power over your will. You're saying that somebody has more power over you than you do of yourself. That's blasphemous. So we got to do better with that. We got to do better for that. And there are layers to this, because these influencers, these celebrities and shit like that, these people, don't make them your God. Don't make these people your God, because they are leading you back down victimhood road. I spoke on this recently when I talked about Jay-Z being on Clubhouse, and he was up here talking about how hard it was to be a Black man in America. This man is a billionaire. What is you talking about, Jay-Z? You have accomplished more than the vast majority of people will ever do in their entire lives. Being a Black man has not kept Jay-Z from becoming a billionaire, or however much money he got. So instead of him at that moment using that as a moment to empower and uplift people and just tell them his story on how he changed his mindset to get him to this place, he on here telling a bunch of poor Black people about how hard it is to be Black. These people will keep you poor if you listen to their bullshit. So you got to be careful. You got to be very careful. I said I would make a reaction video to this. Trevor Noah, his farewell speech, when he was pandering to Black women, basically is what he was doing. But talking about Black women can't afford to fuck around and find out. What is you talking about? Quit telling other Black people this victimhood rhetoric. And of course, it's Black women all in. Oh, thank you, Trevor. Oh, come on. We the only ones that's holding ourselves back. Being a Black woman don't have nothing to do with what it is that you desire and you dream of. What does that even mean, what he was talking about? It's like, I get it from a victim standpoint, but from a victor standpoint, I'm like, that you got too much influence to be saying shit like that that's going to steamroll Black women into further victimhood. That's not empowering. That wasn't empowering. It was very disempowering. That's saying that you are at the behest of someone else. That someone else has power over you. So you can't afford to fuck around and find out. And that's a whole nother thing too. But all right, y'all, I'm really gone. Thank y'all for tuning in. I swear, I appreciate it. I'll be back with some more shit.